So I was playing Animal Crossing with my girlfriend the other day, except I don't play Animal Crossing, and I also don't have a girlfriend. So anyway, I was playing Smash Bros by myself the other night, and a thought occurred in my head.
Hey, whatever happened to those cartoons I made when I first started my channel?
Oh yeah, that's right, I privated them because there was pretty much no point in making an animated channel on YouTube. And then I thought to myself, hey, the Amazing Digital Circus is pretty cool. It got me thinking, is the animation scene still viable on YouTube? And sure enough, well, no, I don't need to talk about this.
Are you sure about that?
If I'm gonna make videos off animation on YouTube, it's either gonna end in Five Nights at Freddy's fanfiction or, I don't know, Rule 34 art of Final Fantasy characters. And I don't need any of that, especially that last part. There's just so much other content to analyze. Why break down the state of animation when I can just instead rank all the soundtracks from the Sonic franchise?
Hey, Greg. What the hell? Yeah, I'm doing a Sonic the Hedgehog soundtrack review, and since you're a musician,
How did you get in?
No, you invited me.
I thought I changed the lock.
No, you didn't. No, this is gonna be a really fun project.
Yeah, that didn't work. Okay, sure, let's talk about animation on the internet. And not that kind! It's kind of amazing that just 40 years ago, if you wanted to be a cartoonist, you needed one of these and probably one of these.
I've picked the most expensive medium that you can get. And the reward is that you can do anything you like.
But with the turn of the century and resources open at anyone's fingertips, all you needed now was one of these and one of these, and bop, you got yourself a bona fide frame of animation. Make a few more, and what used to be one of the most exclusive mediums in art now became accessible to pretty much any kid out there with hopes and dreams. And the world of animation would never be the same. In 1995, American programmer and Flash animator Tom Fault would graduate high school just after 10th grade and soon launch a website called Newgrounds Remix. The site would later become retitled and known by the world as Newgrounds, a home to many young creators starting off. Suddenly, doodles that would just only exist on our notepads during school could come to life in front of the whole internet. 10 years later, YouTube would make its official debut to the internet, and many established animators from Newgrounds would flock over to this new site to expand their audiences. One of the icons we had was Charlie the Unicorn. I remember back in the day, kids at my school were quoting the series just as much as the cartoons airing on TV at that time. And that's because it was great and also weird.
Guys, we shouldn't be on this thing.
Charlie! Charlie! Charlie!
I'm right here. What do you want?
We're on a bridge, Charlie!
In a way, Charlie the Unicorn was one of the many characters who broke that mold of what people expected from a cartoon. There was no long line of executives stamping approvals in order to publish it. Just a guy. Jason Steele, the creator of Charlie, opened up about how Charlie the Unicorn was actually a Mother's Day gift he made, due to him not being able to afford a gift at the time. He lost a great amount during the Hurricane of Katrina, and animation was ironically the cheapest thing he could provide. Jason and other artists alike ushered in what I call a golden age of independent animation on the internet.
This model here has a wonderful trunk space and plenty
Dang it, I was dreaming that I was back in the year 2011 again. I guess all I can do now is get back to the video. So, most folks looking to create their own cartoon series have really one of two options. One, raise a bunch of money to make an ambitious project that can one day be pitched to a big-time studio. Or two, work your way up the industry ladder until you're trusted with running a creative project. But during the rise of YouTube, there came a moment where through ad revenue, merchandise, and paid subscription services, indie animators could make a living off their own works without relying on a studio. Some could claim YouTubers were unprofessional creators who got lucky, but when it comes to media, it's a numbers game first.
Creeper. Oh man.
I mean, it's pretty obvious, but because Minecraft had such simple graphics, you could do a lot more with the assets from an animation perspective.
What are they doing?
Revenge was an animated music video created by Minecraft Let's Player Captain Sparkles and musician Tryhard Ninja. The two were originally known for their Minecraft parody collabs, but they'd actually soon branch off into original music videos that would receive, well, a lot of views.
Like a lot of views.
And while Revenge would remain the most popular, that didn't change the fact that it was still a parody of another song. But even when you look at the numbers, it's safe to say that animation videos like these were a prime example of counterculture.
All these other Katy Perry, Lil Nas X, Chance the Rapper up here on the charts. We got Captain Sparkles up here at #1. I mean, we gotta hit him up.
There was just a general approachability of it that Minecraft fans loved, during an era where content creators reeked of clickbait and misleading thumbnails. What happens next may surprise you. So yeah, animation is a very hard thing to do. There's a lot of rules to follow, a lot of competition to hold yourself against, and a lot of skill and intuition that just comes from endless practice. But when you cut out the niceties and allow yourself to focus on the thing that matters most, you can be surprised of how much a single person can accomplish. And even though a big change to the very fabric of YouTube was headed our way, we viewers learned that stuff didn't have to look like Pixar in order to win our hearts. It doesn't take an 8-minute video with high production value to be won over. Sometimes, it just takes 42 seconds from a free software on Steam.
What are you gonna do now, big boy?
In a world where a high schooler could make a cinema quality level skit, memes would still continue to shape the fabric of all corners of the internet. At this point, networks and studios were taking up more of the spotlight on YouTube, and many fans who grew up with the choppy user-made entertainment would find peace in dank memes. Not only did unpolished animations like this suffice, it was sought after. Was some of it subtly genius? Absolutely. The news was out there you didn't have to be an animation legend with 10 years of experience to make something good. As for the people who did spend years trying to make it big, they had to do something big to stand out. Before 2005, the internet was already leading the way to new cartoon studios, and thanks to YouTube, a lot of these smaller businesses could finally broaden their audience, just like the folks who migrated from Newgrounds. And then there's Rooster Teeth. Anyway, the year is now 2019. At this point, the YouTube algorithm had changed already a while back, and it's now a very, very, very different place.
Was that the bite of 87?
Is there a race going on? Cause I'm smelling some
Serious burnout.
Animation channels are now storytime channels or cartoon reviewers, and that question begins to pop up. Could someone still release their big animation idea on a site like this without relying on a big studio? Just because there's a couple success stories, does that give a green light to the thousands of people who want to make their own cartoon show one day? Is it even possible? Well, if there's one thing the past videos have taught us, is that it doesn't have to be the greatest thing ever. There's only two things you need. People have to know it, and people have to like it.
Epithet Erased was a high-concept cartoon series led by Brendan Blabber.
More commonly known as jellopocalypse. The show cut corners on budget by finding stylish ways to limit animation, and instead, the team focused on utilizing talented voice actors for well-written characters.
Anyone can become a villain for the low, low price of $49.99 a month.
So there's no skill requirement to enlist.
What's that supposed to mean?
Nothing! I just thought that seemed like a pretty lofty membership fee!
Through streaming service Verve, they were able to get their budget, and the production was set, and they all lived happily ever after.
No. Are you serious?
Okay, so Even with backing from Verve and a simplified pipeline, animation is still just that labor-heavy of a medium to handle. Production hells in independent studios happen all the time, and in the case of Epithet Erased, Season 1's production went through a pretty tough one.
I am not a production studio, I am just a dude. I had to gather everybody on the fly. Boy, is that time consuming. And like, this is such a hard show to explain to people before you have the visuals going on, because it's like, yeah, it's kind of animated, but not really.
Season 2 of Epithet would later come out as an audiobook series with a crowdfunded budget of
$360,000.
We look at people like Brendan who were able to get the support to tell these grand ideas, but we fail to see the long list of hard-earned victories he took to get to where he was as a creator. Just like all the other people who trailblazed YouTube, we all had to start somewhere. At the start of the golden age of animation on YouTube, online creators were making successful cartoons at the cost of pennies in comparison to what corporate studios were dumping into their projects. The only issue with YouTube was that when you posted something, there was no guarantee it would be seen by anyone. Gooseworks would find herself cemented in the animation scene, owed majorly to her motifs that people would find only in her channels. If you look at the most influential animation artists who defied the odds of the algorithm, you'll often see that they cultivated both a style and an ongoing set of motifs that you could find only with them. Animation is a brand built off expectations, and when you're able to harness that branding and wait it out long enough, you may just find yourself beating the odds. Upon releasing the Digital Circus, the pilot would make fans all over the globe, all while featuring an esteemed cast of super unique characters. Hey, wait a minute. The success of Digital Circus is really unheard of, not just in animation, but really in just original short film content as a whole. Under Glitch Studios, this pilot was carried by a team of artists, including but not limited to the talented animator Kevin Temertunes, who offered insight on just how much detail was put into this piece. And by golly, Gooseworks did it, achieving what many studios could only dream of. So with that all on display, is animation still viable on YouTube? Well, it's proven that your work can look like a piece of shit or something straight out of Annecy, and either way, you got a shot. But that's just it. Like any internet endeavor, you only have a chance.
Everything will be okay.
A common denominator behind each of these videos I mentioned today is passion. Okay, I'm like 50-50 on the whole we like to party sketch, but if you're gonna tell me that an uninspired animator conjured up a kaiju Thomas monster to beat the living fuck out of TF2 fighters, then I'll personally stop myself from posting my own thank you letter to the crew behind Digital Circus in their comment section, because I don't know what has creative inspiration anymore. The point is that if you feel driven to make something, then you shouldn't care about the view count. I mean, don't quit your day job over your passions, and don't empty your life savings to get your dream cartoon out there in the real world. Because as a job, YouTube is definitely not worth the risk. But here's the thing. People shouldn't make cartoons here to get big. But cartoons can get big here because people go ahead and make them. We tell our stories because we can, and now is a better time than ever. The technology and resources are more bountiful and available than they ever have been. And that's even when we exclude AI art tools. 11 years ago, I started this channel with hopes of making my own animation studio. But because I was 15 and stupid, that didn't work. But now I'm 26 and stupid, and after a long break, I finally decided to make my own animated short film. That's right, this whole video was just one big build up for an announcement. We're making a movie!